Are direct drives worth it? That's a question I've posed almost 2 years ago, and my answer was mostly no. Jumping to today, I'm posing the same question. Are they worth it? And after what has been happening since last year in terms of new wheelbases coming out, my answer changed to a yes. They are worth it and could be even your next upgrade. But first of all, what made it possible to change my opinion was the appearance of lower cost direct drives. My main contention point regarding direct drives has been largely the same. They are excellent indeed, but paying a hefty premium to have one, in most cases paying close or over 4 digits for a wheelbase or a wheelbase set, it's not something always justifiable for most. Were the prices to drop and keeping the largely the same feature set, then yeah, absolutely. And so that happened. Fanatec came in first with the CS-LDD, then Simagic with the Alpha Mini, and then Mata with the R9. If you look at these side by side with their far more expensive big brothers, the feature set is largely the same, the experience very similar, but the price is far lower. What changes is the amount of force delivered. In most cases, it's about half of the torque from the big brothers, and of course, the price will be dropping about half as well. But the experience again is largely the same in its core. Direct drives are a great system as it applies all the torque into the steering shaft, meaning no pulleys or belts. Therefore, it's an immediate response with all the effects and forces for maximum fidelity possible without any system hindering response in between. In my opinion, one that many will disagree with, having more torque than a Honda VTEC on a wheelbase, it's really not needed for most. Big motor, big torque. Big torque that plenty, including myself, will lower down quite significantly, which becomes somewhat wasted potential even if a big motor brings extra snappiness to the movement. Those big motors cost quite a bit of money, they will require bigger cases and they will require everything that will be more expensive connected to them. A smaller direct drive will therefore cost significantly less while retaining at the same time what makes a direct drive, and each advantage of this particular system. A larger motor with more torque might be a useful feature for a small group of people, though most will want the fidelity, the quick response, and a decent amount of torque higher than most belt wheels. When the new generation of direct drive wheels came out, the prices were close enough to the top offers for belt wheels, for example the TSPC and TSPC2, that they become basically direct competition to them. This is unheard of in the past. If they are direct competition to wheels of that type, they have a leg up, lest some sort of feature is needed, like ecosystem compatibility. It's here where I think direct drives become worthwhile for a large number of people, far higher than before. With the price hitting somewhat parity with some belt wheels, they should be on your top considerations for an upgrade. Take it from me, in the past I've jumped from multiple systems with very small increments of performance, a Logitech G25 to a Fanatec CSR, to then a T300 and then finally a Fanatec CSL, to only then a large direct drive wheel. Had any of these new generation direct drives be available in the past, I'd have jumped directly to them and skipped some of the middle steps. The price difference wouldn't be so much from a regular CSL system or the T300 setup I was running. We could be talking about 100 or 200 euros in difference at most. And then there's this. Price considered, the Fanatec DD1 was the one single item that didn't completely make sense to me despite being the absolute best wheelbase that I have mounted on my sim rig thus far. For me, 2 years ago, like it is now, the prices for higher end direct drives don't really justify themselves for a person like myself. But, you know, stuff like the Mozza, the Fanatec CS-LDD, they do make sense. So, for a newcomer into sim racing, these new generations of direct drives might not be the best choices for the first equipment set. The entry cost is still quite high, even if sim racing as of this moment doesn't have such a high cost of entry for a niche as it did before. Still, you might still not know if you are going to enjoy sim racing, but as a first wheel upgrade, absolutely. In essence, most of them, bar the top tier belt ones, are worth an upgrade if you are looking. These new direct drive wheel systems are absolutely revolutionary, not because they are direct drives, but because they brought those features to a lower price point. This has been the story of sim racing components for the last 2 to 3 years. More and more, we are seeing features that came in higher end components being brought into a lower priced component that would still have most of its useful functionality, with the advantage of having most of the issues of that technology already corrected as they were run first in higher priced equipment. There are very little, if any, downsides in rocking these smaller direct drive wheelbases. Whatever other wheels would be compatible, like desks, wheel stands, and sim rigs, these will work there too. The current state of sim racing equipment is fantastic, and hopefully this technology can even drop down to even lower price points. Who knows? But I really want to hear your opinion on this.